Andre here. Happy Monday. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. The weather right now is not so great here in New York, but it's raining now. It's like a bad thunderstorm blowing through. But it was much nicer earlier. It was sunny and it was super hot, so hopefully you got the chance to go outside and enjoy it, and hopefully now you're sitting inside the air conditioning like I am. Right? Alrighty, so the story I chose for tonight's read aloud is called Pilot Ray, The Tale of a Snail. And what do you notice about the words tail and snail? They rhyme, right? A rhyming word, as we've talked about before, has the same sounding ending, right? Tail, snail. And tail and snail are not spelled the same way, right? Tail ends in LE in this case, and snail ends in AIL. Okay, but they both make that same sound. Tail, snail. Can you guys think of another pair of words that rhyme? I can't hear you, but I'm sure you're coming up with some great ones, right? For example, bug, rug, right? Or car, star. Or boy, toy. Those are just a few, right? I'm sure you could come up with a whole bunch of other ones. So we're going to read about this snail, and it says Pilot Ray. So if we look at the snail here, look like he's wearing goggles and a little hat. So what is he? He is a pilot of a what? Of a submarine? No. Is he the pilot of a bicycle? No. When we hear the word pilot, we think of a what? An airplane, right? So we're going to see how he is going to be a pilot in this story, okay? Alrighties. Or I should say, I'll give you a little bit of a teaser to this story before I start reading, because there are a couple of things I want you guys to think about while we're reading. So his dream in this story is to become a pilot. He wants to fly really badly. Now, as you know, he's a snail. Do snails fly? No, right? So he has this dream, right? This is what he wants to learn how to do, and this is what he wants to do. And it's important, right? Dreams are super important. I'm sure you guys have your dreams of things that you want to do, or maybe a dream about what you want to be when you grow older, just like I have my own dreams, right? When I was your age, I dreamed of working with children and being a teacher, right? And if you have a dream, it's really important that you work really hard at it, right? It's not going to come easy, and sometimes you might feel like giving up, but it's really important that if you really want to do something, you want to be a really good swimmer or very good at basketball, right? Or very good at playing the piano. It's not going to happen overnight, right? You have to practice. So, keeping that in mind, as I'm reading this story, I want you guys to think about, what are your dreams? What do you want to do? What do you think is important? Again, it could either be what you want to be when you grow up, or it could be something that you really want to do for fun, right? Climbing a mountain, or, swimming with a shark, which sounds kind of crazy, right? What are your dreams? Okay? So let's think about those while we read today, okay? Okay, and it says, Dear reader, if you believe in dreams and enjoy this book, please leave a review for a virtual hug. That's so cute, right? Virtual hug. Giving you guys a big hug right now. Okay. So there is Ray, and it looks like the rest of his friends, right? In a wild secret garden, not too far away, lived the smallest of snails, and the snail's name was Ray. Ray wasn't alone in the garden so green. He lived with his brothers, Steve, Francis, and Dean. So, what are you noticing about the words in this story? They rhyme, right? So, I'm not going to go through line by line and ask you guys which words rhyme. You can do that at home as we're reading along, okay? If you're reading with your mom and your brother, or I'm sorry, your brother or your sister, your mom or your dad, grandma, grandpa, talk with them, okay, and discuss which words are rhyming as we read the story, okay? All right, so here is Ray, okay? He's a snail, right? Do you know where we usually see snails? Just like the story says here, right? In a garden. So if mommy is growing plants outside or flowers or vegetables, on an afternoon like today where it's raining very, very hard outside, I bet you if you go outside after it rains into the garden or the grass, you might see a snail or two, right? And they have this shell and then they're kind of slimy, right? Just like the hermit crab. Remember we talked about the hermit crab in a story last week? The snail lives in its shell, right? When it wants to go to sleep, it curls up into its shell. When it wants to protect itself from other animals, right, it climbs into its shell. What other animal has a shell that they use for a home and for protection? Can you think of the other animal? A turtle, right? A turtle has a nice hard shell also. Alrighties. And look at how that, isn't that cute? He's wearing his little pilot hat. Kind of like if you guys wanted to be maybe like a firefighter when you grow up, you might wear a fireman hat, right? Or carry around a fire truck. Ray's brothers were known for their skills far and wide. They would boast about them with their chests full of pride. So they're really good at doing a lot of different things, and they like telling everybody they're good at it. But what about Ray? What was special about him? Right? So let's look here. What are his brothers famous for, or what are they known for doing? Let's look at this guy, the purple one. What does he do? It looks like he's a good painter, right? How about this guy? It looks like he got a lot of trophies for coming in first place. And it almost looks like he's wearing a helmet, so maybe he plays some kind of a sport, right? And then look at this guy. Ooh, he is a very beefy looking snail, right? He's got big, big muscles. It looks like he's lifting weights, so maybe he's a professional bodybuilder, right? So they're all known for doing something. Okay, but Ray, he was slow. He was not creative, not strong, and he was too slim, meaning he was very, very skinny and kind of weak, right? So I guess he doesn't really have any special talent yet. That doesn't mean that he's never going to have a special talent, right? It's just that he doesn't have one at the moment. So see here, what's happening? He can't lift the weight. He's too weak, right? He's not very good at drawing. What did he do for the painting? What did he do? He drew himself a nose, like a clown nose. You see that? And then what's happening here? It looks like they are having a race. Oh, and his brother that won all the trophies definitely beat him. How does he look? Super tired, right? So, do you have a situation like this? That maybe you have older brothers and sisters that all have their special talents, and then there is you, right? Much younger. It happens sometimes, right? I know when growing up with my three sisters, sometimes I felt like they all were very good at something, and then I really didn't have any special talents. At least I didn't think I did. But you know, it happens, right? Okay. All you are is tiny, his brothers would scream. That's not very nice, right? And sometimes we get picked on by our brothers and sisters, right? If you try to hang out with your older brothers and sisters, do they tell you, you're too little, you're too small, you don't understand, you don't get it, right? They like to pick on you. But Ray's superpower was, so they're being very mean to him, and now he's very sad. But What do you think his superpower is? His special talent? Dreaming a dream. Oh, so even though he's a little tiny snail, he's got big, big, big dreams. And that's really, really important, right? You always want to dream, make plans for the future, right? Because you can do anything you set your mind to. You just have to work really hard at it, right? So he has a big dream. He wondered all day how it feels to fly high, like a bee or a bird, through the blue, endless sky. Right? So he's looking up at the sky, he's looking at the airplanes, he's looking at the birds, right? And he's wondering what it would be like to fly. Whether it be like he's a bird or an air, like, you know what I'm saying? Or either flying an airplane. He just wants to have that feeling of what it is like to fly in the air. That is his dream, right? Have you ever wondered what it would be like to fly in the air as well? Sometimes, I guess when I was growing up, I did. Now I'm kind of scared of heights. Um, so I don't think that would be a dream of mine any longer. Um, but he has this dream. Just like I said, maybe you guys have your own dream, okay? And we're going to see how he is going to accomplish this dream. Okay. One day he announced, I'll be flying up there, and you will be gazing at me in the air. I will be Pilot Ray, and I'll fly far away. None of you care about me anyway. Right? Because they're so mean to him. So he's saying, whatever, one day I'm going to be this big famous pilot in the sky, and you're not going to care less. Oh, forget it, his brothers were laughing out loud. You'll never succeed. Snails can't fly like a cloud. Now, we talked about this before, right? Snails can't fly. What do animals need, you think, in order to fly? They need wings, right? Like bees, butterflies, birds. They all have wings. That's why they can fly. Snails don't got wings, so they're saying, yeah, that's never going to happen. And sometimes this does happen, whether it be your brothers or sisters or your friends, right? You tell them, well, one day I'm going to be the president of the United States, right? And they'll tell you, you can't be the president of the United States, right? Or one day I'm going to be a world famous race car driver. You can't do that. You'll never be able to do that. You're too slow. You're too this. There's always going to be people that will put you down and make you feel like your dream is impossible. You don't listen to them, okay? Because when you listen to people that bring you down, you'll never ever accomplish your dreams, right? And I'm telling you right now, you are capable of achieving whatever you set your mind to. Don't let anyone ever tell you any different, okay? So if you wanted to be a world famous artist and maybe you were only starting to learn how to draw, and people were like, your drawings are not that good. They're jealous. They're jealous, right? Because they don't have dreams and they want to bring you down. So you don't need to listen to them, okay? You just keep working really hard and you'll be able to accomplish your dreams as well. Okay, when Ray found a wrapper he hoped he would fly, he folded an airplane and pushed it up high. I love this. All right, so now he has this dream of wanting to fly. Instead of just sitting there and hoping one day he'll magically be able to fly, he is starting to work at his dream, right? Just like when I realized I wanted to become a teacher, that was my dream. I didn't just wake up one morning and all of a sudden I'm teaching, right? I had to go to school. I had to go to a lot of classrooms and observe children. I had to work with kids. I had to take special certification tests, right? It's a whole big process, right? And there were days where I felt like giving up, saying this is way too much. You know, I was very stressed out and I was like, what am I thinking? Maybe my dream is too big. But you have to stick through it, right? You have to stick with it. So he's now, whoops, my mouse is going crazy, trying to work on achieving his dream. And how is he doing this? He finds a piece of paper and he folds it into an airplane and he's going to see if that will help him to fly. Okay? So you need to be like Ray the Snail here. You take baby steps. Okay? But Ray was too slow and he failed to hop on, so he watched it take off and soon the airplane was gone. So he got up on this leaf and what happened? He pushed the paper airplane off, but snails are really slow, right? So by the time he inched all the way up to the top, the paper airplane was gone already, right? So, okay, that's not going to work. Is he going to stop thinking about his dream now and say, I'll never fly and move on to something else? No, right? He is going to maybe try something else. Okay, so if one thing doesn't work when you're trying to achieve your dream, you just keep working at it, right? Um, like for example, I had a friend who was also studying to become a teacher, and when she had to take the certification test, one of them, because there's so many of them, she didn't pass it on the first try. But she didn't stop after that and say, you know what, I'll never become a teacher. She kept working at it. She took the test again, she practiced more, and she was able to pass it, right? So you have to keep working at your dreams. Okay? Also, another example I can give you is yesterday when I was in the pool with my nephew. He kept telling me, Titi, I want to learn how to swim. And he's like, but I can't do it. And I told him, I said, what do you mean you can't do it? I said, we don't say we can't, we say we can. And you have to keep working at it. And he's like, but I know I'm not going to be any good. And I said, how do you know you're not going to be any good if you don't practice first? So I had him practicing in the pool with me, and he still said it's not working. Now, granted, the pool was kind of shallow. It's like one of those kiddie pools. I said, you know, maybe we could get you swimming lessons, right? You go in a bigger pool and they will teach you how to swim because he said that's what I want to know how to do. I want to be able to swim really well. That's his dream, right? So he's going to continue working at that. So let's see what Ray the snail here is going to do. At noon the next day, the air filled with heat. Super hot like today, right? Ray climbed on a berry all juicy and sweet. He chewed and he chomped. Well, he ate a whole lot. Soon he yawned and lay down, then dozed off on the spot. So what fruit is he eating? Yummy, delicious strawberry, right? So he's sitting on the strawberry and it's getting super hot, right? He's probably thinking, right, what am I going to try next for flying? And he falls asleep. Uh-oh. Let's see. Ray was easy to spy, lying there on the red, snoring peacefully. Zzz. So tired, right? In his strawberry bed. What do you think is going to happen next? Let's make a prediction. So he's sleeping here on a strawberry. What do you think will happen next? Ray didn't notice the sky turning black, nor the crow swooping in to have Snail for a snack. There's a big bird coming. Uh-oh. It wasted no time and it grabbed the poor chap, and that was how Ray quickly ended his nap. So a big bird came onto the strawberry plant and picked up little Ray. Oh boy, there he is. Did you guys predict that a big scary bird was going to come to snatch him up? Did you predict something else? I don't know. Let's see. Ray was scared for his life because once he had heard that things don't go well or end well, I'm sorry, in the claws of a bird. So, what do you think is going to happen when this bird picks him up? What do you think he's going to do with the snail? Or do you think he wants the snail? Or do you think he wants the fruit underneath the snail? I don't know. Let's see. Oh, there he is. I guess he didn't want that strawberry, right? He picked up the snail. He yelled, "Help! Oh no, help!" And he made such a noise that it woke the whole garden, including the boys. He's very scared right now, right? How would you feel if you were him and you were sleeping on this strawberry and then all of a sudden you wake up and you see a big black bird grabbing you with these huge claws? You would probably feel really, really scared, right? And of course, the bird is flying in the air. And now, technically, he's flying the snail, right? Also, but I don't think that's the kind of flying he wanted to do, right? Steve, Francis, and Dean all looked up straight away. This was surely the final goodbye for poor Ray. So now his brothers are looking up and they're seeing poor Ray trapped with this bird. What do you think they're going to try to do? Do you think they might try to help him? Do you think they might say, well, whatever, this is what he gets for wanting to learn how to fly? Do you think they're going to leave him alone? What do you think will happen next? Make a prediction, okay? And we'll see if you guys are correct. They had tears in their eyes, held them back with all might, when they watched little Ray disappear out of sight. Quietly, Dean sighed. I'll miss that snail, though. You can't choose your fam, but he's still our little bro. They're not going to help him, right? You know why? I guess because, why do you think they're not going to help? Or can they help? Not really, right? They're here on the ground and they're very small. Remember, snails are not big, they're kind of tiny. And then here is the crow with Ray, right? They can't really do anything, right? They can't jump up and grab him. I mean, I guess they're not going to come up with a plan to get him either, unfortunately. So they're already saying their goodbyes to poor Ray. How do you think Ray is feeling now, flying past his brothers and realizing that they're not going to help him? He's probably really sad and upset. Do you think, even though, the brothers are snails and are kind of limited in how they can help, do you think they still should have tried something to help him? Probably, right? High up in the air, things looked terribly bad. I won't make it, thought Ray, and that made him so sad. Why did we waste time with the fighting and such? Why didn't I say that I love them so much? So now he's kind of regretting it, right? All the fighting he did. He should have, said, I love you more to them, should have been nicer to them. Kind of like when you have a fight with your brother or your sister or your friends, right? After the fight, you feel really bad and you're like, oh, I said that and I didn't mean that and I should have been nicer. So this is what he's going through as well, right? Okay. With claws wrapped around him as sharp as a knife, he decided to cherish his last moments of life. He breathed the cold air, smelled the late summer breeze, and looked down at his home, at the creek and the tree. So he doesn't think he is going to make it alive, and he's just kind of looking around and accepting that this is it. Now, do you think something bad will happen to him, or do you think he'll be able to get out of this? Let's see. Oh, what is that thing that is catching my eye? It is white and it flies right below in the sky. So what is that? What is it that he's seeing? What's white and flying in the sky here? It's the airplane, right? Do you remember he had made the airplane before and he was too slow to ride on top of it, right? So, do you think maybe this airplane can help him now? And how? How do you think the airplane's going to help him? Remember, the crow is holding him. How can the airplane help? Think about it. Little Ray made a plan. Now I know what to do. He first held his breath, so the crow had no clue. So he's trying to be very, very quiet and still and not move around too much, right? Because he has a plan. So, what do you think his plan might be? Let's see if you guys are correct. Then he wiggled and he jiggled, ignoring the pain. I can't give up now. There's freedom to gain, right? So he's seeing a way out of this situation. And he's going upside down. Why is he going upside down? He's trying to wiggle out from the claws of the bird, right? Okay, soon he slipped out through the claws of the crow. Down, down he fell, and the crow didn't know. He had left there behind in the crow's prison cell. So what did he leave behind when he fell out from the crow? What's that green thing? His shell, right? Kind of like the story we read last week, remember? About the hermit crab that also got picked up by the bird. He also had to fall out of his shell. Remember, it was a little too big for him. So this is the same thing again, except now it's with a snail. So he fell out of the shell. He left behind his beloved green shell. So now he is flying down through the air. What is he planning on doing? Remember before I had asked you to predict what he's going to do? He had a plan with that paper airplane. What did you guys predict? And do you think he's going to be able to go through with his plan at this point? Let's see. Ray fell down with a grin, fireworks in his brain. Then he dropped with a plop on his own paper plane. Did you guys predict that he was going to jump onto the paper airplane? If you did, great job. And if you predicted something else, that's okay too. His goggles in place and his scarf wrapped up tight, Pilot Ray flew back home in an elegant flight. Oh my God, guys. Isn't this amazing? Do you remember what his dream was? To be able to fly. Is he flying now? You bet he is on that paper airplane. Look at him. And he's so happy, right? His dream has finally come true. Right above the green garden, big circles he flew. He spotted his crew and he yelled, I love you! Steve, Francis, and Dean looked back in shock at each other. Then they cheered loudly at the return of their brother, right? So they're actually very happy to see him right now. He almost died, and they're so happy he came back safely. They greeted him warmly and jumped for a cuddle, then huddled together to kiss and to snuggle. Big hugs. And gently they whispered, we need one another. You are still so tiny, but a great little brother. Right? So all the fighting and the name calling, they really missed him. Just like when you have a fight with your brother or your sister or your friends, right? You all miss each other and you feel really bad, right? So they still think he's great. So he's finally accepted by his brothers. And it took him almost getting very, very hurt for them to realize that, right? That Ray lost his shell, they'd remember forever. He was known from then on as the first slug pilot ever. So slugs, it's another type, it's almost kind of like a snail, except without the shell. They also come out after it rains, and they're also very slimy. Remember, he has no more shell, so they call him a slug now. Okay, and everybody is very, very proud of him because he is the first snail to actually be able to fly, which was something amazing that they thought was not possible, right? Okay, and that is the end of the story. So I hope you enjoyed the story. Of course, the very big lesson we learned from this one, dream big because anything is possible. Don't let anyone ever tell you you can't achieve your dreams because just like Ray here, he was able to, right? Um, so in closing, there are a couple of extensions that I want you to consider, okay? The first one, if you remember before I started reading, I said, what is your dream? What is something that you want to either see or be able to do, or what do you want to be when you grow up when you're older, okay? You can either draw a picture or write about it, okay? The other extension is that his brothers were good at different things. Can you remember what each of his brothers were good at? Okay? And then I want you to consider, what is something that you are good at right now? Are you good at writing, good at drawing, doing math, running, playing video games? You can either draw a picture or write about it, okay? Okay. Another extension that I want you to consider is, how was Ray the snail able to achieve his dream of flying? Okay? How did he achieve his dream? You can either draw a picture or write about it. Okay? Um, another thing to consider, ask your brother and sisters or your mom and your dad. What are their dreams? What do they hope to see, or what do they hope to be able to do? No matter how old you are, you can still dream. Right? We can always have something that we want to either try, see, or do. So, what are their dreams? Okay? Are they similar to your dreams? Are they different? Okay? Um, and then the other thing I want you to consider is, I asked you what your dreams are. How do you think you can achieve your dreams? Here in this story, we saw that Ray the snail dreamed of flying, and he tried to, create the airplane, the paper airplane. That didn't work. And then he was trying to figure out possibly other things he can do to achieve his dream. I had told you when I was becoming a teacher, there were certain steps I had to take. Okay? I had told you also about my nephew who wants to be a really good swimmer, what he's going to need to do to achieve that, right? So for your dreams, what do you think you have to do to make sure that you achieve your dreams? Okay? And the last thing is why is it important to not give up on your dreams? And what are some things that can cause you to want to give up? Okay? As we saw in this story, Ray the snail had this dream, and his brothers kept putting him down, calling him names, saying it was impossible, right? That's one thing that could be an issue in helping you to achieve your dreams, right? Not having support, and also having a lot of failures in achieving it, trying different things and failing, right? Sometimes people just give up completely. So, why is it important not to give up on your dreams? Okay? Um, so, again, I hope you enjoyed. Dream big, reach for the stars, because anything is possible. Okay? Never forget that. Don't let anybody tell you any different. You keep working hard, you will achieve all your dreams. I can promise you that, okay? Alrighty, so continue to stay happy, continue to stay well, and be kind as always. Stay blessed, and I will see all of you guys tomorrow night. And again, I just wanted to say a huge thanks to all of you who are liking and subscribing to my channel. We are in this together, like I always like to say, and I appreciate the love and support. All right, so you all take care now, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay? Bye bye.